Let's go to line 1. Good morning, you're live on Talk Sport. Hello there.
Hello?
Hello, who's this? Hello?
Hello, who's this, Talk Radio?
Yes, it's Tommy Boyd. You're on the air.
Hello there.
Hi.
Right, Tommy.
Yes?
At this time of night,
Mm-hmm.
we used to Ian Collins and Mike Dickin shooting the breeze.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
Who's we?
The listeners.
No.
Yes, we are.
No, you can't speak for the listeners. You can only speak for yourself.
Okay, well, I'll speak for myself then. And everybody that phones up, you seem to want to have, well,
Come on.
You're a trained psychiatrist.
Yes, you nearly finished the sentence then, didn't you?
Well, yes, you tell us you're a trained psychiatrist.
I am.
And
Psychologist.
Yes, because there is a difference.
Well, why didn't you acknowledge it before I told you then?
Well, you said psychiatrist.
No, I didn't. Psychologist.
You told us a trained psychiatrist.
Us? Who's us again? Have you got a split personality? You keep
Yes.
dealing in the royal we, dear.
Yes, I do.
It's I and me.
Well, I don't know. You'd know more than I would.
And I didn't tell you.
You'd know more than I would.
I certainly would.
Anyway, we certainly don't...
Who's we again?
Are you trying to do the, Anna Rayburn gig?
Oh, dear. Is this one of those calls?
Because at this time of night, mate...
Mate, is this one of those calls...
It's one of those calls that...
from somebody who...
Why don't you just listen to the... At this time of night...
Because it's not very interesting.
At this time of night...
You want to talk about broadcasting, don't you? And I'm not in broadcasting.
You're not?
No. Isn't that obvious?
Well, get another job then.
No, I like this one. But it's not broadcast.
But you're in broadcasting.
No, I'm not.
Tommy.
You're not very clever, are you?
No, I'll tell you what.
Yeah?
Why don't you just see a psychologist?
I'm not in broadcasting. Now, there are people listening who will fully understand that and go, yeah, of course he does.
Yeah, there are. But most people at this time of night,
now, who's this we again?
Well...
You can't speak on behalf of
I'm used to...
That's why I'm here. I'm here, and you're there, because I know the audience, and you don't. I'm used to listening to Mike Dickin or Ian Collins shooting the breeze. You've said that before.
Everybody that phones, you seem to want...
You've said this before as well.
You seem to want to get into their head. You want to get into everybody's head.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand your own.
No, that's not true.
Well, it must be. Leave everybody's head alone and just let them speak.
Well, why do they ring then if they know that's the deal?
Because they want to shoot the breeze. But they're not used to you being on the other end of the phone and you just piss everybody off.
That's not true.
Well...
No. Just you it is, you see.
But you're flawed.
How do you spell that?
Yes, Flawed.
Oh, obviously.
You're flawed.
Yes, of course I am.
Yes, of course you are.
Yeah.
Everybody else is, aren't they? So you must be. You're flawed.
Well, why is that such a source of triumph for you?
And I'll tell you why you are.
No, can you answer my question?
Because Timmy Mallet used to hit you on the head with his hammer.
You're not very good, really. Can you... can you not...
And you think you can take the place of Mike Dickin? Shooting the breeze?
Yeah. Listen, darling...
Yes.
You're not
I'm not your darling, anyway, go on.
No, I'm just being patronising because...
No, don't, and that's your trouble. You're so patronising.
Yeah.
You don't realise how patronising you are.
Now, just listen to me.
No.
No, I'm going to have to turn you off, because this woman's phone... This is one of the problems you have with a show like this. I'm taking calls cold, so I don't know who's going to be there. And occasionally you get women like this. It's often women. Not always. She's called before and she's gone on like this. And it's difficult because I don't want to immediately cut somebody off, because I don't like doing that at all. As soon as they come to air and I realise that they're going to be repetitive, you know, and tedious. I'd love someone to ring up and have a really decent argument with me. But I don't like talking about broadcasting because it's not what I do. And I'm not interested in people who know more about this radio station, this show, and indeed me, than they should do, because that's unhealthy. Really. And, you know, you need a life outside the media that you have an interest in. You probably know more about this radio station than you do about your own family. You probably know more about me than you do about yourself. And that is not right. That's just not right, that's all. It's just not right. So don't call again. And don't listen anymore, frankly. And if you want to stop inhaling, well, I wouldn't stop you doing that. But you see my point. I know you're not supposed to say this, but isn't Winston Churchill just a little bit overrated? I mean, you tell me, what did he actually do during the war? He drank a lot, he did a bit of radio, and he smoked. And they say Liam Gallagher's a bad role model. I'm Tommy Boyd, today from 2, with a bottle of brandy, a fat cigar, and 2 fingers to the lot of you. On Talk Radio. Tommy Boyd. It's Joan, you're on Talk Radio.
Hello.
Hello, Joan.
That's fine. I'm shattered, Tommy.
Good.
I usually listen to you. In fact, I only have 2 radio sets, both on this program.
Right
all the time, and through the night. And I was so saddened by what you had to say about Churchill. I think it was very uncalled for. To run someone down so derogatorily. I mean, really, you didn't need to do that.
It's just the facts. It's just the facts, ma'am.
No, it isn't a fact at all.
Well, tell me what's infactual that I've informed you of this afternoon.
Well, if you had been around at the day of his funeral, the whole of this country...
I saw his coffin. What do you mean if I'd been around at the time of his funeral? I saw his coffin, did you?
Only on the television.
Well, I was more around than you were then, woman.
Don't call me woman. You don't have... There again, you see, you're so big-headed.
You see, but you came in with the idea that I was wet behind the ears.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. If you said if I'd been around at his funeral, I was.
I didn't. I wouldn't listen to your program if I thought that.
Well, what's the point of saying if you were around at his funeral when I was?
I did not say if you were around at his funeral.
You were alleging that I'm out of my depth. You were alleging that I'm out of my depth.
I'm not saying that at all.
You're saying that if you didn't see something, you don't know anything about it.
Insulting and shouting over people. You're not always right, you know, Tommy.
Well, where have I been wrong so far?
Because you shouldn't speak so ill of a man who was a great man. You'll never be half the man he was, I'll tell you that.
Yes,
and I'd love to hear from other people who will say the same thing.
Well, now, you're just being... how could you, then? How could you?
Squirt compared to a great man.
A great man. I'm a greater man than he was.
Oh, my God, there you are. You've got a bigger head than I even thought.
Well, you haven't read what I've read about him.
Haven't I?
No.
Have you read the works of Churchill?
If he'd yes.
Well, then.
What do you mean, well, then? Have you? What have you read by Churchill?
The volumes in the past.
Which volumes of the past? Name the books.
I can't think of them offhand.
How about the history of the Second World War? That's a good starter. That'll keep you going for a fortnight.
Shut up, you little twit.
There, you see. Gone. Tommy Boyd. You know, I can scarcely pick up the feature page of any of our national newspapers or flick through just about any magazine that's on the in the newspaper shop's shelves without thinking to myself, you know, there are times when I'd rather like to be a woman. I really would. Times when I'd rather wish I was black. Times when I wish perhaps, no, plenty of times when I've said to myself, it must be a lot better being gay than being heterosexual. Why? Well, because like a lot of men, there are times when I feel lonely, because I'm not in a minority group. Tommy Boyd.
Yes,
that's correct. That is correct. It's supposed to be.
More intellectual than anyone who might happen to call in.
Yes, it's supposed to be.
And
so what you're doing is actually confirming... Right?
Who's interrupting now?
You're confirming the vigour...
Hang on a minute. You're not allowed to interrupt me,
You're
but I'm not allowed to interrupt you.
confirming the vigour of my performance.
Right, well, you know, stick by your own rules. I was inhaling, ready to say something else.
Yes. But what you were saying was wrong, and I reserve the right to interrupt somebody who is clinically incorrect.
I see. So you've got to make all your points without being interrupted, but no one else can.
Well, you were only interrupting me to try and stop my flow, not because I was clinically incorrect.
No, you as ever, you've got totally
Are you enjoying this?
You've got totally off the issue.
Excuse me, are you enjoying this?
That's my judgment and my private thoughts.
Are you enjoying this? Excuse me, are you enjoying
I wouldn't be prepared to admit it if I was.
We all know that you are.
You've got off the point.
You're beginning to get it.
You've got off the
Slowly
point.
getting it.
The point is that this is a non-issue and you shouldn't be wasting time on it.
Gotcha. Well, why did you ring up then?
To tell you exactly that.
To join in.
And to stop giving.
How many times do you ring radio programmes then?
This is the first time I've ever done it.
Exactly.
So what's your point?
Hook, line and bloody sinker, and the point is you don't get it.
It doesn't make you right, And you haven't had the good grace to apologise to the guy that I made my first point on.
This is the first time you've ever rung a radio programme, the first time you've ever felt compelled to join in an argument, and you're trying to say, all right, that it shouldn't be on. It's called you to action.
No, not in the slightest.
You sucker. You're here.
I'm calling for...
You're here.
I'm calling for a debate on things that are proper issues.
Which such as?
Well, not issues over minority groups. Let's talk about what's in the news. Let's talk about what's really happening in the country.
What?
Let's talk about the things that affect people. Let's talk about the breakup of the United Kingdom. Oh, that's boring?
You bet. The way you talk about it is probably not the way I'll talk about it.
I haven't talked about it.
I'm talking about it in the next hour of the programme, but you won't even know that's what I'm talking about.
The breakup of the United Kingdom. You're at it again.
No, but I can tell
on
you
your
what
high horse as a presenter. You can say what you like and no one else can.
You're boring.
Well,
you are a boring man. You are dull. You are ordinary.
You started the radio show with a boring subject.
No, it's not boring.
You're the one that's boring.
It annoyed you. Therefore, it's not boring.
I think it's a waste of time. I want to turn the radio on.
What isn't a waste of time? You're a waste of time. Everything you do is a waste of time.
You don't even know what I do.
I know it's a waste of time.
How do you know that?
Well, what do you do?
How can you possibly know?
You tell me something you do that's not a waste of time.
I think the fact that I go out to work every day.
What do you do?
Earn a living, keep my family.
That's a waste of time.
What
do you do?
What, keeping my family's a waste of time?
Yes.
Is it?
What's the good of that?
What's the good of it?
Yeah, what are your children going to be?
Well, whatever they want to be.
Well, they'd do that without you, wouldn't they? In fact, they'd probably do that better without you.
Well, granted, but they wouldn't have...
Why don't you clear off then?
They wouldn't have the facilities and they wouldn't have the encouragement to grow up.
Listen, you're getting extremely boring now, and you know it. Now, I've got to bring in... Thank you for your call. Welcome to Talk Radio.
Oh, well, there you go.
I won't invoice you for all that fun. Better than sex, wasn't it?
Not for me, Tommy. It might have been for you. You're obviously having sex with the wrong people, if that's the case.
Our first caller is Mary in Hales Owen. You're on Talk Radio, Mary.
Is that Tommy?
Yes?
Yeah, this is Mary.
It is.
I've been going deaf for the last 10 years. I've got a deaf phone here, and I'd rather go bald than be deaf, because nobody wants to know you when you're deaf. If you have a hearing aid on, you can hear background noise when you're in a crowd.
Yes, we're talking about menstruation, not deafness, Mary.
Oh, I thought you were talking about deafness there. Okay, then.
All right, okay, thanks.
Oh, I'd rather be menstruating than going deaf.
Yeah, I know, it's not about going deaf. It's about baldness. Are you going bald?
No.
Are you menstruating?
No, because I'm 79.
You're out of the discussion.
Okey-doke.
We'll do deafness tomorrow.
Bye, Tommy.
Bye, we'll do deafness tomorrow. What would you rather be, deaf or... I don't know. Good morning. The show which combines all that is best about psychology, psychiatry, sociology and philosophy. Today asks this question: have you ever met a Malcolm who wasn't a tosspot? Malcolms like to sit up late at night and click around the German stations on their Sky. Malcolms have got a metal detector, but they don't take it out very often because they've only ever found a load of rusty nails. Malcolm calls from Bracknell. Malcolm. Good afternoon. I'm very grateful for your
Thank
call.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Timothy.
Cheers now. Shake your off. Malcolm calls from Stockport.
Well, I'll tell you something. I found a pot of Roman coins, 563. How about that?
Well, it only goes to prove that Malcolms do tend to have metal detectors, doesn't it?
I haven't got a metal detector. I didn't use one. It was 8 feet underground in an old mine shaft.
Well, what are you doing down an old mine shaft then, you Malcolm, you?
I knew you'd pick that one up. I knew you'd pick it up. Yeah.
Do the laugh again, mate.
You're wicked. No, it's historical mine restoration that we do. That's got to be something for the Malcolms, I tell you.
So wait a minute. So you're Malcolm. You're not a metal detector, Malcolm. You're a historical mines restoration.
That's right.
Steve calls from North London. Steve, you're on Talk Radio. What makes you angry?
Hello, Tommy. How are you? All right?
Yes, thank you for asking.
One thing that makes me really angry is America's overkill policy in Kosovo. You know, let's send in the B-52 bombers.
Not interested, Steve.
Let's send in the B-52...
Not interested, Steve.
Well, you should be.
Well, I shouldn't be, and I'm not.
If you represent
not
the
interested.
public...
You don't give a hoot either, really. You're just trying to act like you're important.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You
not interested.
represent the people, so you don't represent free speech, do you?
Do represent free speech.
No, you don't, because you don't want to hear what the people have to say.
No, I do want to hear what the people have to say, and that's why we don't want people like you who are only saying what you think the people ought to hear.
No,
yes.
You don't want to know what the people have to say.
Oh, I damn well do, and that's why I don't want to hear you coming out with this self-righteous put-truck.
You're not interested.
I am very interested, and I know a damn sight more about Kosovo than you do.
You support
your trouble is that you are one of these sad little men who honestly think that you can get 2 seconds of glory by pretending that you give the slightest hint about Kosovo. You don't know where it is. And you don't know what language they speak. You know nothing about their history.
You're not a radio
You're a completely irrelevant man. What have you done for Kosovo?
You're not a
what have you done
for the people, are you?
What have you done for Kosovo?
And what have you done?
What have you done for Kosovo? What have you?
Figure income.
What have you?
Producing nothing but hot air. That's what you do, isn't it? You
Six-figure income. Stand up, actually. You haven't got a single fact right. You haven't got a single fact right.
You don't want to hear what the people's real opinion is.
I know what the people's real opinion is.
You practice censorship on your radio station,
No, otherwise you wouldn't be on, would you?
No, you do.
Well, how long have you been on?
I'm on because you didn't know what I was going to come on with. That's why I'm on.
You're damn right you're on. You're a liar, aren't you? So you're a liar.
Exactly.
Can we just back up for a second? You're a liar.
You preach lies.
You pretended you were going to come on the radio and talk about students who park cars on pavement. And you come on the radio and what you actually try and do is blind people with boredom. That's what you do. You're a complete and utter irrelevant. I have never ever been so insulted by such stupidity in all my life.
Your version of free speech is not anybody else's.
Well, how come you're still on the radio?
Because you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear what I have to say.
Well, how come you're still on the radio?
Because people who tell you
up. People's radio station. Where did it say that? It's a commercial business, you fool.
That's right, yes.
If you want to be the people's voice, you get yourself a megaphone and get down to Hyde Park Corner and stand on a soapbox. Nobody will listen to you because nobody cares. You're completely irrelevant.
Blowing hot air out of your arse.
I've told you it's a six-figure income. And I am standing up.
You don't do a proper day's work. You're in the job because some executive parasite pimp gave you the job. That's why you're there. But what do you do to earn your 5-figure income? Nothing.
I told you
just sit on your backside, blowing hot air out of your mouth.
I earn a six-figure income.
Public, left, right, and centre.
Well, at least I'm prepared to admit how much I earn.
What is real free speech? You don't know what real free speech is. People who phone up, they're censored by your receptionist. If your receptionist doesn't like what they have to say, no, they get cut off. They don't even get a chance to get on. That's why I gave you a dummy.
Yes.
That's why I gave you a dummy to get me on.
We cut you off because you're boring.
Does it?
Very boring.
One thing.
You're a boring, lonely, sad man. You're a boring man.
You're an arse-licker.
We don't let you on because you're boring. And also, you're mental. You're bonkers. You're loony. You're absolutely loony. You're neurotic. You suffer from logorrhea. You are completely and utterly self-bearing bonkers.
For 2 hours, and you produce nothing but hot air. You're a very hard-working man, aren't you? And of course, you're a patron of the people, aren't you?
The Funny Boy Radio Experiment.
Now you've gone. What a merchant. John calls from London. John, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to me. Where did that clip come from?
Oh, I don't know, but I want him back. He was great, wasn't he?
Oh, he was, yeah. God, I was sure to take that one.
Fantastic. Made my day. Edna calls from Hampshire, and we'll speak to Edna in just a moment. Edna, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm waiting.
I just wanted to pause before I talked to you.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
What's that for, then?
Silence is quite powerful on the radio.
Silence is golden. And I'll tell you what, you're not a golden boy. You're coming on the radio insinuating people that have got cats, got senile dementias, a load of old rubbish.
No, I didn't suggest that at all.
Yes, you did.
No, it was the other way round, for a start, Edna.
What?
I suggested that it could be that there could be a link between some symptoms...
Well, I've got 2 cats and I'm not senile.
...can be associated with pre-senile dementias and
I think you've got a blooming cheek coming on the radio doing all that.
It's not new. The idea's been around for many years.
Well, where'd you get it from?
A scientific paper.
What's the paper called?
Feline Entropy and PSD.
Oh, right.
Is that better now?
No, it's not better because it's a load of old bollocks.
Oh, language, Timothy. Now listen to me. If it turned out that you were a bit Margaret Rutherford...
I beg your pardon?
If it turned out that you were a bit Dotty... And
I'm not, I'm sane.
And your cat...
I've got me marbles.
And your cat was responsible, right? Would you have a cat sandwich if it meant that you'd get your marbles back?
No, I don't understand.
It's homeopathy.
What's that then?
Homeopathy. Free call 0500 1053 89.
Let's talk to Edna, who's in Hampshire, who has got a different view on this, I think. Edna, you're on the air. Edna! I don't know whether she's actually capable of doing this, Stephen. We'll see.
No problem.
Edna?
Hello, Jamie.
I don't think she is.
I'm listening. Hello?
Hello?
Yes? I'd like to say I think you're bloody disgusting talking about sex on the radio. I practice a non-functional sex life, and I'm proud of it.
A non-functional sex life?
Yes.
I can tell.
Celibate.
You're what?
Celibate.
Oh, she's celibate. Halibut.
Yes.
Halibut, yeah. Nothing you can do for her, I don't think, Stephen. So historically...
Let's go to line 3. You're live on Talk Sport. Good morning.
Good morning. Are the IQ of the issues discussed on sports radio lowered?
Are you going to go on like this for much longer?
Lowered to
Are you going to go on like this much longer, or can we have a conversation?
Yeah, I'm asking a question.
No, I'm not here to answer. I'm not here to answer well-rehearsed questions. Would you turn next to somebody in the pub and start a conversation like this?
Oh yes.
Well, then, no wonder you haven't got any friends.
I'm asking if it's...
No wonder you're reduced to ringing me.
I'm asking if it's...
Well, ring your mother and...
about the sport.
Ring your mother and ask her.
Because it seems to me that what you was questioning that other person, he was really questioning a social injustice.
No, you're like him. You think it makes you seem important if you're bothered about things like this.
No, we don't want social injustice.
Who's we?
People.
Which people?
Everybody.
People commit social injustice. You commit social injustice every time you breathe.
How?
You know perfectly well how. It's just that it makes you feel better to believe that everybody else is committing social injustice. You commit social injustice every time you have jam on your bread when there's people in Rwanda who haven't got any bread. That's a social injustice.
For misinformation.
Did you eat jam on your bread today?
I don't eat jam.
You only eat what sustains you, and the rest you give to Rwanda. You liar.
Yes, I'm going to sort of fly a plane over with a jam sandwich.
Exactly. So you commit a social injustice because you eat more than you need.
This is a puerile argument.
It's an argument you can't answer.
No, it's an argument that you can't
commit
answer.
social injustice by eating more than you need.
You're going to abstract theory when in actual fact...
No, sir.
What you pertain to is to ignore relevant facts like the previous caller was making, which was a social injustice, and if we allow social injustice, then it'll affect me, you, and everybody.
Now listen to me very carefully.
Stupid infantile spirituality.
Oh, shut up, you fool! Listen to me.
Oh, I'm a fool as well.
Yes, you are a fool. You're a lost fool.
No, I'm not.
And like that last you are, and like that last caller, the reason that you are lost is because you have been given a map.
When the Nazi
Will you listen to me? The reason you are lost is because you have been given your map by the media.
The media does not give me map. I pick out...
The media tells you what you think ought to be important, and you fall for it. Right, left and centre.
I pick out anything. If I see people sleeping rough, I see it with my eyes.
What do you do about it?
I give them money and I sort of write letters.
Well, take one of them home and shut up until you do.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Do something about it.
Yeah, and then he'll kill me or something.
Oh, he'll kill you. Now, where did you get the idea that if you give somebody a home, they'll kill you?
Because you can't just pick
Not from the media, surely.
Because you well, occasionally you hear of people having done a charitable deed and sort of suffering their life for it.
I worry that people like you get all your ideas from the media and none of your ideas from real life.
I pick out
real life.
I pick out my ideas from real life. I select what I feel important, and any social injustice, I'll do anything to advertise it and to show that it's wrong.
Why don't you? What's the biggest social injustice on planet Earth at the moment?
The greatest social injustice, poverty.
Right. Where?
All over.
No, not all over. Where? Not in Monaco.
In every
In Monaco?
In every country there's a...
Where is it at its worst?
Where is its worst? I suppose it'll be Africa and your third world countries.
Why aren't you there doing something about that, then?
Because I haven't got the funding to do so.
No, of course you haven't, have you? So it's a lot easier to waste your money phoning a radio station and telling everybody else they ought to feel bad compared to you, because you're the one who cares. You're the first person to ring up the radio station and point out what everybody else ought to be worried about. Somehow it makes you better than everybody else, because you were the first one to mention it that evening. Therefore, you've done your bit. Well, you haven't done your bit. You've done nothing. Nothing at all. Only made things worse. Only put other people's hackles up because you go on at them about what they ought to be doing, when you yourself, in actual fact, are doing nothing at all, except putting other people off doing something worthwhile. Do things. Existentialism is the thing for you. Do something. And when you've done it, and done it, and done it, over and over again, then perhaps someone might listen to you. But you'll probably not bother to say anything if you've done it and done it and done it. Because you'll recognise that saying anything doesn't do anything at all. Doesn't achieve anything at all. It's doing things that matters. Now, of course, you can't get to Africa and feed 12 million people. But there's somebody around your corner, around the corner from you who needs your help. There's probably somebody in your house, or there ought to be, who needs your help. Right now, needs a cuddle. Right now, could use a cup of tea. Right now, could use a little note just put on the pillow for when they wake up. Right now. And those are the little things that you can do and you should do. Because there's poverty under your roof. Not necessarily nutritional poverty, but emotional poverty in everybody's lives. And people who go on about these damn issues are just creating more emotional poverty in the world. I thought that before I got there. Well, I must admit, I did get there rather nicely. Line 3, you're live on TalkSport. Good morning.
Yes, Tommy, why do you call yourself a psychiatrist?
I don't.
You did tonight?
No, I didn't. A psychologist.
No, you said psychiatrist.
No, psychologist.
No, you said psychiatrist tonight. You've said it before.
No,
you didn't explain very well the difference between a psychiatrist.
Yes, I explained it as the medical profession understands it. Maybe you've got a layman's understanding down at your end.
What qualifications do you need to be a psychiatrist?
You don't need any qualifications to be a psychiatrist.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't. You need a qualification to practice as a psychiatrist.
You haven't a clue what you're talking about, Tommy.
No, and nor have you.
I do. I know what a psychiatrist is.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you've had plenty of experience with them.
You don't know anything about it at all. Now, Tommy, if you don't like the news, why did you become a journalist?
Well, there's two things there. Who said I was a journalist?
You did tonight. You don't know what you're talking about, Tommy.
No, I don't.
You're denying everything you've said tonight.
Yes.
You said both things
That's
tonight.
Right.
And
That's
you
right.
haven't. You will go back and play the tapes of this show.
Well, if you want an answer to your question, I would have thought it's obvious. I would have thought your question is so... You see, your question is frustrating because it's both pertinent and yet it answers itself. So let me ask you, why do you suppose...
No, I don't accept answers to questions that are questions. You don't answer a question with a question.
Well, are you... My problem is this.
Tommy, you don't...
No, if I may. My problem is this. I don't believe that you're at all interested in finding anything out.
But I've just asked you a question.
You see, what you're actually interested in... What you're actually interested in is... making sure that everybody else, okay, is as paper thin as you are. That's what you would like.
Tommy.
I don't know, how old are you? Are you 80 yet?
I'm 76.
Yeah, nearly 80. Now, tell me this then.
No.
No. You tell me this. You've lived for a very long time. Have you learned anything worth passing on?
I'm not going to answer your question because...
Oh, well, you go away then. Because that's what matters. There's no other question worth answering. No other question worth answering. When I'm 76, I may know something worth saying. And if I'm asked, I'll be flattered, and I'll tell it. But to miss the opportunity to pass on your wisdom, that is a sacrilege. Unless, of course, you haven't got any wisdom, which is what I suspect. A 13-year-old's wisdom, perhaps. But to have a 13-year-old's wisdom when you're 76 It's criminal. It really should be an offence. There should be some sort of court of law where you can be taken and incarcerated or hanged for failing to acquire any wisdom by the time you're 76. It's a tragic business. It's probably got something to do with the air. Let's take our first call, and we'll start with line 1 for logical reasons, even though the technology of it always seems to defeat me. There we go. Line 1, good morning, you're on TalkSport. Hello.
The music might be grown on you, mate, but it's flipping grown over us. We were promised Chris Ashley tonight and Mike Dickin, and now we've got this, who do you complain to here? And how do you know he'll be there in the morning?
What are you on about, pal? What's your
Well, everybody only stays here 2 minutes. Who can we complain to on talk radio?
What about?
About you.
About me?
Yeah.
What's the problem with me?
Well, you're not supposed to be on tonight.
Well, I can't help that. Well, who said I'm not supposed to be on?
The papers.
The papers?
Yeah.
Don't believe what you read in the papers. What difference does it make to you anyway? One plonker on the radio is the same as any other plonker.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is.
But they said we were having another plonker tonight. And
well, you've got this plonker and you'll just have to put it in your pipe and smoke it, pal.
If we're told we're getting a plonker, we want a plonker.
If we're told we're getting a plonker, we're getting a plonker.
We're entitled to it.
What do you mean you're entitled? You haven't got any entitlement whatsoever. Do you know that? Zero. You've got a less than minus amount of entitlement. No, they haven't. You haven't got any rights.
We are told that we are getting Mike Dickin
What
tonight.
rights have you got?
If we are told we are getting a Dickin tonight, then we want a Dickin tonight.
There is, first of all,
you know what I'm saying, Tommy?
No, wait a minute, wait a second, another way. Now, if you don't stop and listen, you're off the air.
If we're told we're getting...
That's a fair deal, isn't it? Honker.
We're told we're getting...
No, you're still rattling on, aren't you?
Nobody's listening. We're told we're getting a Dickin and we've got a dickhead.
Can we just...
Tommy, can I get my money back, please? You said read the label. I read the label.
Go away. Feeble. It's got to be a conversation. Sorry, guys. It's got to be a conversation, you know? And if he might have been funny, but he just kept going on. Hello? You're on TalkSport. What's your name?
Is that Tommy, is it?
Speaking.
Oh, that bloke that you had on just now, he's dead right. You're the plonker.
Thank you.
You're the bottom of the list.
Fantastic.
Everybody on talk radio is fantastic except for you.
TalkSport it. TalkSport it is.
Total crap.
TalkSport it is, mister.
You can't talk about anything.
You don't even know. You don't even know what the radio station's called. You don't even know what the radio station's called.
Total crap.
You don't know anything. What do you know?
You got that?
What do you know?
Bloody know. Have you got a brother at the top or something? Because you're crap. You're useless.
Well, what do you want?
We want somebody like Mike Dickin or James Whale when he gets better.
Oh, well, we all want James Whale to get better, but in the meantime, you're going to have to hack me.
We don't like you. Nobody likes you. You're just total crap.
I'm the most popular broadcaster in the history of speech radio in Britain. It's official.
You're just absolute crap.
You can't hack it because you haven't got a brain.
No way, mate.
You haven't got a brain. You haven't got an education. You haven't got a life. You're driving around in a rusty old...
I'll listen to you all night because I reckon you're
a bucket. You've got a tragic life. You haven't got any friends. You haven't got a girlfriend. Nobody likes you. You've got a body odour problem. I've been to a dentist for 3 years.
You're looking at yourself in the mirror, are you?
I'm a beautiful man. You know what I look like.
Beautiful.
I'm a beautiful man.
Nice, mate. He's got a spider across your face.
I'm beautiful and I'm trendy and I've got girlfriends and I've got money.
Trendy? You're absolute bomb.
I'm rich.
You're crap.
I've been out with Madonna. You haven't even...
Mate, I wouldn't want to go out with bloody Madonna. You'd probably catch something.
Now, look, you mustn't be unkind about her. Because she's never heard of you and she doesn't care about you.
I don't care about her.
You're just a piece of bacteria. That's all you are. You're nothing.
Yeah, I know.
You're less than an amoeba. You don't matter. You could not matter less.
I'll phone you up later on and tell you how crap you are again.
Well, you
pester you and pester you and pester you till you get off that gig.
No chance, pal. I am here to stay. I am going to rule the airwaves from now until infinity. And there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Nothing at all. Absolutely nothing.
Are you paying them? Are you paying them, are you?
Are you enjoying this? Oh, he's gone. Fantastic. Well, that's woken me up. Wilfred's on the line from County Down. Wilfred, you're on Talk Sport. Hello.
Hello, Tommy.
Oh, God, here we go.
No.
Oh, it's me. I'm a character. Here we go.
I was wanting to talk about women on the radio, but before I begin, I saw you on the bill, Tommy. You were on the bill in UK Gold a few weeks ago. Did you know that?
No.
You looked a little bit... I have a photo of you, and you looked a lot thinner in your photo. Is that because the television fills you out a bit?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Now, I was going to ask you why you think there aren't more women on the radio.
There are.
Well, not doing the type of job that you or Chris Ashley or...
Yes, there are.
Who? On talk.
I myself am a woman who comes to the radio and puts on a stupid voice and a silly accent and pretends to be somebody I'm not. Shocking to discover, Wilfred, I know, but there are such folk.
Oh, yeah.
Can you believe it?
I think it's outrageous.
Isn't that appalling? People turning up on the radio with funny voices and funny accents, pretending to be somebody they're not. And yet, Wilfred, it happens.
It does, and
Isn't that appalling?
It certainly is. It certainly is. It's absolutely outrageous.
I would get them and I would throw raw potatoes at them from a very short distance.
I'd throw eggs at them.
No, eggs don't hurt.
They make a mess.
That's true.
They make a damn good mess. I certainly would. I'd throw it.
I would. I miss those Aunt Sallies that they used to have in medieval times.
Oh, yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But, you know, to get back to my point, I do think that we...
You know what they do in Hannibal? They put him in the stocks, Hannibal. And
yes.
they get these wild boars to eat his feet.
Yes.
Whilst he's alive.
Is that right?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Again, it's a medieval sort of thing.
It is. It is indeed.
Mm.
But, you see... The women, any women that have been on talk radio seem to have been agony aunts.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering, do any of these backroom girls working on the station have any ambition to get into the front line?
I don't know.
Because...
I don't ask some questions like that, do I?
Well, I think they ought to, because the women are...
No, Wilfred, that doesn't work, man. I've hung around radio stations for years. People do not go up to other people and say, have you got any ambition to get in front of the microphone yourself? It doesn't happen like that.
But why do you think that women don't end up in doing jobs like you or Charlie Wolf's job? How come they...
Wilfred, I don't care.
Well, I do, because I think it would be very...
Oh, don't be so token.
I think it's not token.
It's tokenism.
I think... No, absolutely.
It's ludicrous. Of course it is.
I think it'd be very interesting to see how a woman would handle the type of job that you do. Not just your job, but yours or James or Ian Collins, you know, any of those...
Wilfred, you speak to us from the pages of history with some of these ideas of yours. What makes you think that they'd be any different?
Well, of course
they wouldn't be any different.
Well, they would do it from a woman's perspective,
but
of course.
That's no different from a man's perspective. This is the year 2001. Men and women are the same.
No, they would be totally different.
No.
They'd be a lot...
What?
They'd be a lot...
What?
They'd be a lot less aggressive. Now, I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing, but it would be different. They wouldn't be as verbally...
Have you been with many women, Wilfred?
What?
Have you been with many women?
Oh, Tommy.
Well, I'm asking a question.
How much of Talk Sports other presenters do you listen to? Of course I've been with lots of women.
None of them. No, certainly not as many as you do, and that's quite unhealthy if you don't mind me saying so.
What's unhealthy?
Being widely... Having your own social life widely known and understood by a gamut of radio presenters on one station, Wilfred, is unhealthy for that radio station and very unhealthy for you.
Oh, why is it unhealthy for me?
Well, Wilfred, because one worries that total strangers who talk to you for professional reasons know more about your life than actual people?
Oh, not at all. I mean, they might know about my life, but I'm not worried about that.
Well, one of the things we're trying to do, Wilfred, now that we're in the 21st century, is break down some of the irrelevant differences that exist between people by accident of the colour of their skin, or whether or not their legs work, or whether or not their genitals hang down or are located on the inside of their body. Those things shouldn't really make a great deal of difference to their views, to their understanding of the world, and the way in which they care for the rest of humanity. So if you don't mind me saying so, it's a bit bloody old-fashioned to be saying that you will be getting a less aggressive point of view from women on the radio.
Well, I'm not saying that would be a good or a bad thing, even if it were true. All I'm saying is that I think that it would be different, and a difference is always as good as
There should be no more difference between a man and a woman than there would be between two women, between two men, between any two human beings that should be determined by factors which should be increasingly irrelevant, like whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're black or you're white, whether you're able-bodied or disabled. This isn't PC-ness. What this is people getting hold of the fact that there is more to your identity than the accident of your gender, your skin colour, and all the other little compartments that people will try and stuff you into whether you want to or not.
Exactly, and that's why there should be more women on talk-based radio. So that you've made my point for me. That's exactly what I'm saying. And why is it then we have a whole gamut of male presenters and hardly any women except the token agony aunt or at Christmas time when we let the backroom girls come forward?
Well, you'll find, Wilfred, that there are not very many women in radio. You will find that there are not very many black people in radio.
But I'm trying to get to the bottom of why. Because we've women on television, we've women everywhere else. We're getting them into the building sites and all over, pilots on airplanes. And I think that the radio stations ought to be asked. I think that question ought to be asked. It's not often that I fly the flag for women because I'm not PC.
No, Wilfred, it's dead and buried. The idea's over. It's finished. It's gone. Wake up. Come and join us in the 21st century. You know, we don't view people as men and women any longer in broadcasting. Just as we don't view people as black and white and brown and that any longer.
Yeah.
See, the fact that you hear a voice and you notice it as being male just goes to show how, Wilfred, if I may put it this way, how old you are.
Well, I am. I mean, I'm as old as God's dog, Tommy. I am. You know, I'm getting on, and
but it's not too. You're never too old, Wilfred, to embrace some new ideas.
Well, I'm trying to, and I think I've changed a few of my attitudes since I started listening to you, because
very tragic for you.
Well, I realized that I was looking into the past with rose-colored spectacles, because I always used to say, let's go back to the good old days.
Doesn't make you look a bit like Eminem, you in rose-coloured spectacles, really?
Well, it would, He's a funny fellow, that guy. Hey, have you seen Peter Mandelson recently? He's knocking over quite a few cameramen.
All right, 700 40 50 60 is the telephone number. Wilfred, allegedly in County Down, allegedly an old buffer. But I have my doubts. And we'll go to line 6 and say, good morning, you're live on TalkSport. Hello.
Thank you.
Nice talk, off you go. You're live on TalkSport, off you go.
Thank you. I'm on now?
Yes, you are, yes.
Okay, thank you.
That's okay.
Sir.
Nice talk. What can we do for you this evening?
Well, you're talking about Becca's haircut. There's more serious problems going on in the world.
Well, I wasn't talking about Beckham's haircut, because I agree with you.
You do?
No,
Thank
I don't.
You.
No, yes, but I wasn't talking about Beckham's haircut. Somebody else must have been, although I didn't hear it on this station.
Well, it was. It was. They were talking about Beckham's haircut. We've got all these problems in the world, and you're talking about Beckham's haircut.
Yeah, mind you.
And Madonna having another baby.
Talking about...
Who needs to know about that?
Nobody.
Nobody, exactly.
Nobody needs to know about it. I couldn't agree with you more. So what are you going to do about the world's problems, then? This is the thing, because one of my beefs is that when we talk about things, it acts as a substitute for action. When we talk, we somehow feel as though we've done something.
Yes.
Now, under certain circumstances, that's a good thing, because, of course, as Churchill said, jaw, jaw, rather than war, war. But when it comes to dealing with the famine in parts of Africa, or the destruction of the rainforests,
yes,
or global warming, or whatever problems there are that you think we ought to be tackling, I tend to feel that if you want to talk about them...
And China wants to go to war with Taiwan.
Pardon?
China wants to go war with Taiwan.
No, they don't.
They want to go independent.
No, that's an exaggeration. You're scaremongering there. That's my job.
Okay. But who wants to know about David Beckham having his hair cut?
Who wants to know that the world might end because China might invade Taiwan? I have to say that what you want to talk about is rather more scarifying than talking about Beckham's haircut.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Do we need to talk about Beckham's haircut?
Well, did you hear the point I just made?
Yes, I know.
Is it worth responding to?
Yes, I
Would you like to do that?
Yes, sir.
Well, would you like to respond to my point?
Yes.
Go ahead, then.
I can't respond
Why
to
is
your
that, then?
point because you're... Yeah. I know where you're coming from.
No, you don't.
Who cares a damn? Madonna is having a baby. Who's interested?
Okay, fine, thank you. 08700 40 50 60. We'll try line 1 again. Sticky and dangerous though it always is. There we go. Line 1, you're live on Talk Sport. Good morning.
Tommy.
Hi, who's this?
It's Ray.
Hello. How are you, Ray?
I'm very well.
Splendid.
I don't know why we got all these dingbats ringing up saying you're a load of rubbish. I mean, what do they know?
The dingbats always come through quite early, and I like them. I love a dingbat. That's not to say I'm not enjoying this conversation. But, you know, it's nice to have a breather on the ropes.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, it's nice to get the half-time whistle.
Yeah.
You know.
We know you love a challenge.
And suck an orange and stuff. Where do you stand on the Beckham's haircut versus Taiwan debate? I think the ideal answer is who cares?
Yeah, I couldn't care.
Who cares about the debate? Never mind about the things that are being debated. That one trundles on.
Yeah. So I just rung you up to say I think you're brilliant and we need more of you.
I am. It's finally come home to me that I am probably the most important broadcaster in Britain.
For me, you are. Talk
It's very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful for your call, Ray. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
08700 40 50 60. Tommy@talksport.co.uk is the email number. Line 2, you're live on Talksport. Hi.
That bloke who said you were brilliant is a nutter because you're crap.
Is it you again?
You bloody
He's back
loser.
again. Fantastic.
You're a loser, mate.
There we go. I'm not a loser. I've got a huge house. I've got a TVR. I've got a Renault Turbo Sport. I went out with Madonna. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a personal friend of our family. I was invited to the Prime Minister's house for birthday drinks. I've got a huge bank balance. I could go out with any woman in the country and I could beat the living daylights out of any man, woman or child who walks planet Earth. I am a genius. I've got 12 O-levels, 4 A-levels. I've swum with the whales. I've swum with the dolphins. I've seen the sunrise over Ethiopian mountains. I've planted rice in the paddy fields in Thailand, and I have sat and meditated looking out over Machu Picchu. I'm a complete human being, a genius, the closest thing on earth to the angel Gabriel. And you are a lost soul, and I'm glad. Fantastic. So it'll work out. It does for me. I think he enjoys it. That's cool. It's the equivalent of crunching 50 abs down the gym. Felton. Let's go now to line 3. We have Alvin on the line from Bristol, who wants to talk about pay-per-view. Is that right, Alvin?
Good morning, Tommy. How are you?
Good morning. Very well, thank you for asking.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about pay-per-view and how it's looking like it's going to wreck free-to-air viewing of sport on television.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, well, I think it's pretty obvious that Sky Sports and On Digital and the other pay-per-view companies are going to wreck it for the socialists out here, the rest of us out here who want to watch free-to-air sports through our licence fee.
Oh, right, the freeloaders.
Well, they're not freeloaders, Tommy.
Yeah.
So you're
freeloaders.
No, it's not. It's not freeloaders, Tommy. It's a well-established. No, it's a well-established way of giving television to the populace in an inexpensive way.
How old are you?
That's not freeloaders. No, it doesn't matter. What do you mean? How old am I?
How old are you?
No, let's not split hairs, Tommy. Come on.
How old are you?
How old are you?
47. How old are you?
47.
Okay.
Right. So it's actually of no sort of consequence what age I am, is it?
Yes.
No, and it's of no consequence what age you are. No, because it's got nothing to do with age.
When you said well-established...
Yeah.
How far back were you going?
Well, I should think probably to the 30s.
Right.
When the licensee was introduced.
Right. So
and it doesn't really matter anyway. It's well-established.
Petal.
Whether it's...
Petal.
No.
Petal. When you want
Murdoch puppet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth, shitface.
Pardon?
Don't you talk to me like that.
Well, don't talk to me like that, then.
You started the aggravation.
What aggravation?
The aggravation you started, Murdoch puppet.
Did I use a swear word?
You called me a Murdoch puppet.
Well, what's the difference between a puppet and a petal, then?
A puppet and a petal?
Yeah.
Petal's a term of endearment.
Well, a puppet gets operated by someone. A petal gets blown around in the wind and is a free spirit, isn't it?
Look, our address is... Where do you live?
Bristol, I've told you.
Yeah, well, you come round here and have the argument with me face to face.
Why?
What makes you think that because I work for an organisation, I'm going to give chapter and verse? That is the most insulting...
Because...
Wait, can I finish? Can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would find it very, very difficult to believe that you are a man of honour.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because if you are prepared to issue a deep insult like that with no basis whatsoever, you hadn't even begun.
Not with no basis,
hadn't even begun.
It's not with no basis.
You hadn't even begun.
Yes, I have, Tommy.
To what?
Heard enough.
You've begun to hear what?
I've heard enough from this radio station, from the other pap, which...
Look, you people are so ignorant. Do you honestly think?
No.
Do you honestly think that people sit around here?
At me.
I'll shout at you. I do. Don't you tell me what to do?
A hearing aid as well when the rest of your cronies have destroyed things like the NHS as well through your.
What the hell's the matter with you?
Capital rubbish.
Yeah. Jesus. I really want to tell you to, know what, off.
Well, why?
Because you're the scum of the earth. The scum of the earth.
No, you're giving the corporate line.
Garbage.
You know you are because...
Cobblers.
No.
Trash.
It's not...
Ignorant.
It's not trash. No.
Pig ignorance.
How is something like the...
Pathetic pig ignorance.
This isn't going out on the air anyway, so I realise that. But something like the licence fee...
What are you on about now? You must be the thickest man in the world. Turn your radio on.
Person in the world.
Turn your radio on then.
It's off, mate.
Turn it on, I said.
It is. Okay, it's on, yeah, it's both.
Right, well, what makes you think you're not on the air then?
Well, I don't really care anyway, but you must be the thickest person in the world to not give your own opinion of things rather than just following the corporate line about this rubbish, about let's get the BBC out of the way. It's the only thing...
I'm coming in there, into the gallery. Paul, get your bum in here and present this programme while I tell this man what I really think. Come on. Come on, Paul. Come in here, Paul, and present the programme. I'm going to tell this twat, this appalling little man, this rude, combustible
you're more rude than I am.
Worm, exactly what the truth is.
I haven't shouted at you at all. I haven't shouted at you, I haven't sworn at you, and you've done both to me. So, who's got the manners then, Tommy? It's not you, is it? Let's ruin the BBC. Let's talk them down.
Let's go to line 1. Always good for a hoot. Who's on line 1 now?
Yes, your programme is absolutely rubbish.
It's awful, isn't it?
It's either rubbish or football.
No,
all you can talk about on your programme...
Garbage.
...is football.
It's appalling, madam.
And it's only men. Football.
Men and football. And rubbish.
Yes, absolutely rubbish.
Would you rather have rubbish than football, or would you prefer football to rubbish?
I don't prefer either.
Well, you must have a priority.
No, I prefer to talk sense.
Well, but supposing we can't, would you rather we talked rubbish or football?
No, not football. It's
rubbish then.
It's football, boxing.
Boxing.
Yeah.
Would you? Right.
Who wants to listen to that?
To rubbish. How long have you been listening this evening?
Since 10 o'clock last night.
I'll make a lovely trail. Can we have that out? She hasn't... She's been listening for 7 hours, 51 minutes. Are you still there, Doris? Hello?
Yes.
Do you just realise that was a bit of what we call a gaffe?
Why?
Well, because if you're saying that you don't want to listen to any of this...
Well, I'm just hoping that something decent will come on.
Well, what's decent?
What there used to be on your programme, I think it's just waste. The wages they pay out for these silly people to talk all night.
But if you listen, you see, the point is, if you listen for 9 hours...
Yeah.
9 hours?
Yeah.
You're practically sustaining the radio station single-handedly. You're practically paying the presenter's wages yourself.
You're talking rubbish.
I'm telling the truth, as I live and breathe.
Yeah.
It's exactly listeners like you who think it's a load of old rubbish but can't switch off that's keeping this radio station afloat.
Well, just hoping that something more interesting will come on.
Well, I don't think that's true. I think you love rubbish.
I do not love rubbish.
I think you do.
No, I go over to other channels now during the day. I never listen to yours during the day.
No.
Because it's all sport.
And during the night it's rubbish.
Yes, that's true.
And you've listened to 9 hours of rubbish. Haven't you?
Yes, that's right. Is this
fantastic? Fantastic. Can we snip that out? I expect to hear that through the week. Line 3, you're live on the Human Zoo. Hello.
Bog off and give us all peace, mate. Resign.
No, it's you. Hello. It's the curtains man. The man looks at the curtains.
You're finished.
There's this little Scottish plonker who really is obsessed with this radio station. He rings everybody up. He rang Gary Jacobs up and he asked him about his mum's curtains. And poor old Gary didn't realise to begin with that he was talking to a complete loony, which is you. You are a sad man. You are the saddest man in Britain. You are absolutely so sad. Because you are. You are incredibly sad. At least I'm consistent. I mean, if I'd nominated anybody else as being the saddest man in Britain, then I wouldn't have a case to defend, would I? But only you are the saddest man in Britain.
You don't even know who the last horse was to win the Triple Crown.
You are the
try to pick yourself up as a jockey and I know this and I know that. You are the saddest man in Britain. I don't know what the last horse was to win the Triple Crown. And you come on and you say, I've rode round Cheltenham, I've
rode round Cheltenham, I've had Madonna, me and Arnold Schwarzenegger are best friends, I've been swimming with the grey whales, I've done it all, I've had a life. And it's going to get better. And you are a nobody. And you are a sad Kleenex man, you are. Right. I bet you get through a box of Kleenex a week.
But can I ask you a question then?
No.
No?
I just beg you, all right, to become something.
Right, well,
I beg you to become a human being. I beg you to become an interesting person. Right. I beg you to get out of your smelly little flat.
Okay.
Occasionally.
But that's a bit nasty. But anyway,
I beg you to go and do something useful. I beg you to go and do something useful.
Well, I've already done that.
Every single human being has a duty to themselves.
Yeah, but I've done that.
To do something for other people.
I've done that.
I have a strong suspicion that you're a take merchant.
No, I've done useful things for other people. Okay, right. I voted this year for the Radio Personality Award.
Now you see, the worst of this is the worst of this is
the biggest plonker on the radio.
The worst of this is, fella.
And do you know what happened?
This is
I got a letter back.
This is
I
the
got a
truth.
letter
What
back.
you're saying now is actually the truth. Your actual belief is
if you knew
sitting and
anything
writing
at all,
letters,
if you knew anything at
talking
all, you
to
would have
phone-in
known
programs
that this was
is what you consider to be some kind of a contribution to society. You frighten me.
That's what they said.
You've got a vote. You're probably you'd be allowed to have children. I know you haven't got any.
No.
Because I don't think you've ever met a woman. But my point is, you could if you wanted to, and that genuinely frightens me.
Right. Why don't we shoot them?
Genuinely frightens me.
Why don't we shoot them?
Really, truly frightens me. I wouldn't even let you have a dog. Because I don't think you'd know how to look after that.
I don't think you've got a dog.
I don't know what your problem is.
You've got a dog,
but I think you've got lots of problems because every time you ring up, all you do, all you're capable of doing,
a dog.
Is loving a dog.
All you are is.
Do you have any idea how affirming it is to insult people? Do you have any realise how wonderful people feel after they've listened to you on the radio?
What kind of a dog have you got?
Because it doesn't matter how poor somebody is, it doesn't matter how low somebody feels, it doesn't matter what their self-esteem is. After they've listened to you, they realise that it could be worse.
Well, it could be because you could end up speaking to the dolphins, and Tommy, you'll know more about that than the callers. You keep it up, mate. Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, that's the only bad bit about the human zoo, is that people who you don't have on because they really are, I mean, you know, terrible.
Could you love a dog?
Truly terrible.
Could you?
Could I love a dog?
Could you?
Well, I wouldn't have a dog anymore.
Could you love a tog, Tommy?
A tog?
No, a dog.
A dog. No, I wouldn't have a dog anymore. I used to like
Tommy,
dogs.
you've avoided the question.
Oh, right.
Could you love a dog?
In what way? What are you driving at? Yeah, of course I could love a dog. Well, I've got a rotten old flea-bitten cat.
Yeah.
I don't really love her, but, you know, I look after her.
You do, though, I think.
No, I don't.
You do?
I look after her. I'm the one who has to empty her litter tray every day.
If she wasn't there,
I come down sometimes at 11 o'clock in the morning in my dressing gown. I had to make myself a nice cup of tea. Yeah. And what do you think there is in the kitchen by the kitchen door?
Poo.
A pile of cat poo, surrounded by grit. And she always manages to kick loads of grit all over the kitchen when she's trying to cover it up. Sorry?
You haven't got a cat flap?
She won't go out.
Oh, right.
Because there's a cat next door.
Litter tray?
She won't go out. She won't go out of the house.
But you can have a litter tray in the house.
The litter tray is in the house, it's in the kitchen.
Well, it's not very hygienic anyway.
I don't want
animals
it in
the house is not right.
Where is it a hygienic place to put in the house, to have an animal do its business, and then
fleas and everything,
kick grit, which has been in contact with waste matter all over the room? Where's a good place to put that?
The garage.
Garage, but she won't go out.
Yeah.
Her belly's sagging. She's about 27 in real years.
Oh, no.
You know, since you asked the question. 08700 40 50 60 is the number. You're tuned to the Human Zoo, taking calls live, unchecked, and at random. Shall we see who's on line 4? Line 4, you're live on Talks. We'll go to good old line 1 and say, good morning, you are live on Talk Sport. Hello.
Hello, Tommy.
Tommy here, who's this?
Hello, it's Teresa.
Hello, Teresa.
Hello there. Right, you've had people on, well, I don't know, but the guy earlier was talking about Scotland. And it gets to the point where you'd actually think that this was Talk Scotland radio.
I know.
Right.
I know what you're saying.
I was brought up in Belfast as a Catholic, okay? I moved to London when I was 11. I met my husband, he's an English boy, when I was 11 when I came here. I married him. And I've been with him ever since, okay? And my son has been brought up as an English boy, right? Now, I was brought up in Ireland under a tricolour, and a Union Jack was seen as, well, whatever, right? But it's getting to the point nowadays where the Scottish don't want to be part of the tricolour, the Welsh don't want to be part of it, and so where does that leave us, my son? With an English George Cross. But that's now seen as provocative.
There must be other things to worry about.
Well, there's not really. Well, there is.
No, there are.
Yeah, well, I know there are.
There must
at
be.
the same time.
There must be other things to worry about.
Well,
here.
if they can sing their Flower of Scotland and fly their flag.
Well, why bother?
And the Welsh, and why not? Of
well,
course.
Who cares? Well, who cares?
Well, the English do. Why
no, they don't. The greatest thing about you know, you'll never be English until you realise this.
Well, I'm not English.
I know, but you never will be until you realise this.
But I'm not. No, I never will be.
No, but you could be.
But
I'm here to... No, listen to me.
I want my son
No.
to have the same fire in his belly.
No, we don't have fire. No, you're missing the whole point, woman.
Why should we not?
You're teaching your son to be Irish.
I'm not Irish.
You said you were.
My son's not Irish, though.
But he will be if you put fire in his belly.
No, I want to put the same fire in his belly for his country.
But we don't have it.
I have for mine.
No, you're missing the point.
Is England.
Shut up and listen to me.
His country is England.
Listen to me.
And I will not have my son...
Are you listening to me?
A racist...
Are you going to listen to me?
Go on, then.
If you want your son to be properly English...
Right.
You have to bring him up not to care about being English. You have to bring him up so that he's... No, shut up and listen to me.
No. How can I bring him up to be English without a care for the English?
Well, because we English don't care. I'm telling you the truth. We don't care about being English. We're fed up with being English. Because when people... Yes.
No.
Yes.
The English
it's true.
It is true. The English are so used to being British... that they have forgotten how to be English.
They never wanted to be English in the first place.
They want to be part of Britain.
No, look, all right. Look,
they don't care about your
listen to me. Listen to me.
They went to Australia.
Listen to me.
They threw tomatoes.
Be quiet.
Who do they think they are? Everybody else thinks, so what? That's my son's queen.
Will you stop ranting?
All right, go on.
It's a dreadful rant. You can't rant any better than that.
Go on, then.
Then stop it.
I'm an Irish woman ranting on behalf of my English son.
Very poor ranting.
Go on, then.
Very poor.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what.
Shut up. Shush.
Tommy, I spoke to you a few weeks ago.
You're never going to speak to me again if you don't have a conversation.
Remember when I called you a nerd?
Now you're off. You're gone. Hopeless. No, she raises a good point, although, of course, she didn't know that. Right. But she does raise a good point. If you're going to be English, you have to be slightly ashamed of being English. Because there's a lot to be ashamed about, frankly. Like the fact that we have been ruled by the English for 2,000 years. Well, 1,000 years. And we've never thrown off the yoke of oppression, which our English rulers have chained us with. Such as the French did. They said, right, out, gone. Had enough of you lot running us. We're going to get the people to run our country. And that's what they've done ever since. The Germans never even bothered with it. They quickly got their kings, so they've had their kings and what have you sorted out, thrown out, or repelled ultimately all invaders. We had an invader. The Americans did it. No, in order to be English, you don't sing the national anthem. You do not stand for the national anthem. You don't salute the flag, which you recognise is a faintly ridiculous flag anyway. You are not somebody who celebrates St. George's Day. You do not wear a red rose in your lapel. You know, you kind of hope that England will do quite well in the football. That's about the size of it, really, frankly. When a British team goes to the Olympics, we don't really care. If an athlete does well, we're pleased for them. If they look as though they've achieved more than they might have done through sacrifice and application, and they cry on the podium, it doesn't matter to us whether they're English, British, Lithuanian, or alien, quite frankly. That is the art of being English, and no country on earth, and I'm proud of this, no country on earth has perfected, has even attempted to achieve, let alone perfected, this glorious, feigned indifference to our nationality. It is the uniqueness of the English. And if the Irish come over here and start trying to bring up their sons to be English and be bombastic about it and go strutting around, cocking a snook at everybody else because they're English, then you haven't got an English boy at all. I don't know what you've got. a fight waiting to happen, probably. So you just watch it, missus, okay?
I refuse to make my son confused. I could tell my son, you're half English, you're half Irish. My son is English.
Yes, I know. We've been round this. You're obviously not somebody who can move forward, are you? You're not you're obviously not somebody who can take on board an idea.
Oh, yes, I am.
Well, you've got to take on board the idea that I've given you because it's new, fresh, and vigorous, and swirl it around that cavity of yours known as the skull, and see whether anything sticks to the walls. All right, Petal. 08700 40 50 60. Line 2, you're live on TalkSport. Good morning.
Hi. I wonder if I could speak to Tommy.
You are, you're on the air.
I'm on the air?
Right now.
How are you?
Still well, how are you?
Yeah, this is Gary from Bath. I just wondered, wanted to disagree with your points about schools. You said that schools produce soldier-like people.
That's the idea.
Yeah, that's the idea.
That's the aim.
What are you on about? I mean, let's be quite honest. I've been to school. I came out of school about 4 years ago, and I can assure you I'm anything but soldier-like.
Well, have you been in the army?
I've not been in the army, but...
Well, how do you know what a soldier's like?
What do you mean, I know what a soldier's like? I've got 4 friends who are soldiers. It's quite clear what a soldier's like, and I'm anything but.
Well, are they your friends, then, if they're different from you?
What do you mean? You haven't got any friends who aren't radio presenters?
Well, they're the same as me, my friends. We choose our friends because they're similar social types
No, that's absolute rubbish.
I'm sorry. That isn't absolute rubbish. I'm a psychologist.
Go on, carry on.
We choose people who have similar personality traits to us as our friends.
Well, I'm sorry,
and that's a fact. And the fact that you've chosen soldiers as your friends proves...
No. I've got friends who aren't soldiers as well,
Why didn't they let you in the army?
Huh? I've never applied to be in the army. I'm not far too clever for that.
Oh, plus,
I'm not a homosexual like you prick.
Oh, God. You see, he could have done all right there, but, you know, there it was. No, I'm sorry, I've stumbled on something which is a fact. It's an original piece of information. You haven't read it anywhere else. It's never been in a TV documentary. I don't regurgitate anything on this show. It's my own stuff. I believe that Kennedy killed himself. I believe that there was never an atom bomb. I believe that BSE was caused as a reaction to the Chernobyl created radioactive cloud that floated over this country not once but twice. And I also believe that our schools were organised in 1944 to make sure that the young men coming out of our schools were ready to go into the army and do exactly as they were told, whether it was kill or be killed. The problem with that, I was right at the time, the problem with that is that things have not changed since 1944. Our schools are still turning out fierce, strong, simple-minded young men who are easily regimented. There aren't even any factories any longer for them to go in and work in. We've got to change our schools. Fast. Or knock them all down. Line 6, hello.
Hello, it's Wayne here.
Hello, Wayne.
Hi. I just want to express this, that Britain is dead. The nation-state of Britain is dead and dying, and England lives. And England is the most patriotic nation on the earth. And we will have paradise regained. And empire is no more. The lion and wolf shall cease.
Have you been running up and down the stairs?
No, I'm just exhilarated by the thought of England. The Red Cross, the 4 rivers flowing from the tree of knowledge in paradise, symbolising the blood of our forefathers.
Well, you know, in many ways, Britain has never been a nation.
It's a multi-nation.
No, it's not even that. I mean, Britain was a country long before it was a nation. And
Britannia?
No. And I always contrast that with Germany, which was a nation long before they were a country. Do you know what I'm...
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I think our island status, and all paradises are islands, gardens of Edens, and I think our island status always gave us something very different to the continent, where they jealously had to guard their borders and all the rest of all that sort of stuff of ethnic cleansing, etc. Whereas in Britain, we are the people of the island. You know, we are from the very roots of the soil. We are the fruits of the roots. Stonehenge. It's an ancient tradition that goes back into the mists of time, and English will never die.
Are you all right?
Yeah, of course. I'm probably in a ecstatic...
Is this the coffee talking?
The coffee? The coffee? Yeah? No, it's just pure inspiration.
Yeah.
Inspiration.
Do you talk to anybody else like this?
Yeah, of course. To my fellow Englishmen, because we understand each other. We bounce.
Can you talk? Do you know how to talk normally?
No, I don't like normalcy and normalcy. It's the sort of thing that liberal, middle class media types like. They like to present this idea that the English are not patriotic. And
no. What I mean is, do you know how to communicate at all?
Yes.
Well, shall we try doing that? Shall we try engaging?
Yeah, sure. Okay. I'm up for it.
Well, why didn't you start like that then?
Well, because I felt I had to get this piece of poetic ideology across, because I'd heard so much anti-English rubbish on this station.
Really come across like that at all?
Well,
What are you on about? Because nobody else knows.
Well,
do you know?
Yes.
Well, why don't you say it in sort of terms that people can get a handle on? What's the gist here?
Well, I'm just saying, don't believe the hype. Believe what's in your soul.
No, that doesn't make any sense. Anybody could say that. Anybody could say that. Somebody who's got a downer on newsagents could say what you just said. But if you tell us what it is that you've got a downer on, then
I've got no downers on anything. I'm totally positive and totally up. I'm ascending towards...
Well, no, you're talking absolute rubbish, because you've been knocking off all sorts of people, but it's been very difficult to work out who.
No, I'm knocking off my own enemies, those that want to destroy England, and destroy the beauty of England, and try and make us forget our past, forget our great heritage.
Can you do it so that it makes a bit of sense?
Well, okay, in blunt terms, don't believe the hype, as I said. England is a great nation. England is the most patriotic nation on the earth. And Britain is dead. And England shall reform and have a renaissance in the future.
Are you a member of some strange sect?
Yes, probably.
What is that then?
Probably, well, the Angliorum, the Anglii, the angels, the golden angels of England, England. Probably, yeah. An angel.
I'm not going to get anywhere with you, am I? You're obviously off with the fairies.
Yep. Those English fairies.
Yes, those English fairies. 08700 40 50 60.
Tommy, you back up.
Is this one of those calls?
Because at this time of night, mate,
is this one of those calls?
It's one of those calls.
Yeah, from somebody who.
Why don't you just listen to what? At this time of night.
Because it's not very interesting. You want to talk about broadcasting, don't you? And I'm not in broadcasting.
You're not?
No. Isn't that obvious?
Well, get another job then.
No, I like this one. But it's not broadcast.
But you're in broadcasting.
No, I'm not.
Tommy.
You're not very clever, are you?
No, I'll tell you what.
Yeah?
Why don't you just see a psychologist?
I'm not in broadcasting. Now, there are people listening who will fully understand that and go, yeah, of course he's...
Yeah, there are. But most people at this time of night,
now, who's this we again?
Well...
You can't speak on behalf of the
I'm used to...
program. That's why I'm here. I'm here, and you're there, because I know the audience, and you don't.
I'm used to listening to Mike Dickin or Ian Collins shooting the breeze.
You've said that before.
Everybody that phones, you seem to want...
You've said this before as well.
You seem to want to get into their head.
You
want to get into everybody's head.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand your own.
No, that's not true.
Well, it must be. Leave everybody's head alone and just let them speak.
Well, why do they ring then if they know that's the deal?
Because they want to shoot the breeze. But they're not used to you being on the other end of the phone, and you just piss everybody off.
That's not true.
What's infactual that I've informed you of this afternoon?
Well, if you had been around at the day of his funeral, the whole of this country...
I saw his coffin. What do you mean I've been around at the time of his funeral? I saw his coffin, did you?
Only on the television.
Well, I was more around than you were then, woman.
Don't call me woman. You don't have to. Again, you see, you're so big-headed.
You see, but you came in with the idea that I was wet behind the ears.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. If you said if I'd been around at his funeral, I was.
I didn't. I wouldn't listen to your program if I thought that.
Well, what's the point of saying if you were around at his funeral when I was?
I did not say if you were around at his funeral.
You were alleging that I'm out of my depth. You were alleging that I'm out of my depth.
I'm not saying that at all.
You're saying that if you didn't see something, you don't know anything about it.
Insulting and shouting over people. You're not always right, you know, Tommy.
Well, where have I been wrong so far?
Because you shouldn't speak so ill of a man who was a great man. Oh, you'll never be half the man he was, I'll tell you that.
Yes,
and I'd love to hear from other people who will say the same thing.
Well, now you're just being... how look at you then?
I'm a little squirt compared to a great man.
A great man. I'm a greater man than he was.
Oh, my God, there you are. You've got a bigger head than I even thought.
Well, you haven't read what I've read about him.
Haven't I?
No.
Have you read the works of Churchill?
Yes.
Well, then.
What do you mean, well, then? Have you? What have you read by Churchill?
The volumes in the past.
Which volumes of the past? Name the books.
I can't think of them offhand.
How about the history of the Second World War? That's a good starter. That'll keep you going for a fortnight.
Ah, shut up, you little twit.
There, you see. Gone.
Well.
No. I just knew it, as you see.
But you're flawed.
How do you spell that?
Yes, Flawed.
Oh, obviously.
You're flawed.
Yes, of course I am.
Yes, of course you are.
Yeah.
Everybody else is, aren't they? So you must be. You're flawed.
Well, why is that such a source of triumph for you?
And I'll tell you why you are.
No, can you answer my question?
Because Jimmy Mallet used to hit you on the head with his hammer.
You're not very good, really. Can you... can you not...
And you think you can take the place of Mike Dickin?
I'm not...
Shoot in the breeze?
Listen, darling...
Yes.
You're not
I'm not your darling, anyway, go on.
No, I'm just being patronising because...
No, don't, and that's your trouble. You're so patronising.
Yeah.
You don't realise how patronising you are.
Now, just listen to me.
No.
No, I'm going to have to turn you off, because this woman's phone... This is one of the problems you have with a show like this. I'm taking calls cold, so I don't know who's going to be there. And occasionally you get women like this. It's often women. Not always. She's called before and she's gone on like this. And it's difficult because I don't want to immediately cut somebody off, because I don't like doing that at all. As soon as they come to air and I realise that they're going to be repetitive, you know, and tedious. I'd love someone to ring up and have a really decent argument with me. But I don't like talking about broadcasting because it's not what I do. And I'm not interested in people who know more about this radio station, this show, and indeed me, than they should do, because that's unhealthy. Let's go to line 1. Good morning, you're live on Talk Sport. Hello there.
Hello?
Hello, who's this? Hello?
Hello, who's this, Talk Radio?
Yes, it's Tommy Boyd. You're on the air.
Hello there.
Hi.
Right, Tommy.
Yes?
At this time of night, we used to... Ian Collins and Mike Dickin shooting the breeze.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
Who's we?
The listeners.
No.
Yes, we are.
No, you can't speak for the listeners. You can only speak for yourself.
Okay, well, I'll speak for myself then. And everybody that phones up, you seem to want to have, well,
come on.
You're a trained psychiatrist.
Yes, you nearly finished the sentence then, didn't you?
Well, yes, you tell us you're a trained psychiatrist.
I am.
And
Psychologist.
Yes, because there is a difference.
Well, why didn't you acknowledge it before I told you then?
Well, you said psychiatrist.
No, I didn't. Psychologist.
You told us a trained psychiatrist.
Us? Who's us again? Have you got a split personality? You keep dealing in the royal we, dear.
Yes, I do.
It's I and me.
Well, I don't know. You'd know more than I would.
And I didn't tell you.
You'd know more than I would.
I certainly would.
Anyway, we certainly don't...
Who's we again?
Are you trying to do the, Anna Rayburn gig?
Oh, dear. Really? And, you know, you need a life outside the media that you have an interest in. You probably know more about this radio station than you do about your own family. You probably know more about me than you do about yourself. And that is not right. That's just not right, that's all. It's just not right. So don't call again. And don't listen anymore, frankly. And if you want to stop inhaling, well, I wouldn't stop you doing that. But you see my point.
I know you're not supposed to say this, but isn't Winston Churchill just a little bit overrated? I mean, you tell me, what did he actually do during the war? He drank a lot, he did a bit of radio, and he smoked. And they say Liam Gallagher's a bad role model. I'm Tommy Boyd, today from 2, with a bottle of brandy, a fat cigar, and 2 fingers to the lot of you. On Talk Radio.
Tommy Boyd.
It's Joan, you're on Talk Radio.
Hello?
Hello, Joan.
That's fine. I'm shattered, Tommy.
Good.
I usually listen to you. In fact, I only have 2 radio sets, both on this program
Right
all the time and through the night. And I was so saddened by what you had to say about Churchill. I think it was very uncalled for to run someone down so derogatorily. I mean, really, you didn't need to do that.
It's just the facts. It's just the facts, ma'am.
No, it isn't a fact at all.
Well, tell me.